There is an individual working on this now. His name is Nick Bostrom. He's the director of Future of Humanity Institute at Oxford University in England. According to him, humans have a really narrow point of view on things. We can't hear as well as animals. We can't see as well as animals. We can't see infrared, ultraviolet, microwave, etc. We don't. I'm going to stick in a very neutral point. We don't have anything like telepathy or empathic nature to the degree we probably should have, according to these people. And we can make this a whole lot better by mixing humans with animals to some degree, and mixing their DNA with our DNA, and coming up with a brand new human. Or we can mix technology into it and come up with a brand new human. So, I will let you listen to this director of humanity discuss their plans.
So with advanced nanotech computing capacities, you can show there's more computing capacity in a grain of sand that's been nanoteched, right? There's more computing capacity in that grain of sand than our human being brain's capacity by a factor of, I don't know, billions, right? So imagine a young woman, she's just given birth, and then she needs to make the decision. Is she going to have her baby modified? Is she going to turn that baby into a cyborg, or effectively an intellect? So say she decides to do that. So this, hypothetically, this grain of sand, in a sense, that's been nanoteched, is inserted into the human brain, that baby's brain, and it integrates itself into the brain. So that baby, in effect, is no longer human. Because, I mean, think about it. The capacity of that grain of sand is billions of times what the human brain can do. Right? So for, I don't know, 1/1000th of its capacity, of its time, is it doing human things. The other 99.9999999% of the time, it's doing intellecty type things. So that woman, in a sense, has killed her baby. Killed in the sense the baby is no longer human. It's effectively an intellect. It's an intellect in human disguise.
But when we start modifying our brains with technology, then it does change us from the word go. Even just feeding in one electrode with maybe an extra sense, an ultrasonic sense, which we know is quite possible, then it starts to give you abilities, and you believe you can do things outside the normal realms of humanity. So your values, your morals start to change immediately. You become a cyborg. As that amount increases, so it's not just one electrode you have connected into your brain, it's 100 or 1,000. So eventually your brain, you and your brain becomes part human, part machine in a true sense. Then your morals, your ethics, I think, would be completely different.
What I'm really interested in is to try to understand the bigger picture for humanity, our place in the world, and what might lie in store for our species in the future. Particularly the way we might use technologies to enhance ourselves, or to go beyond what we currently think of as our human nature, whether it might be by radically extending the human lifespan through solving the problem of aging, or increasing our intellectual capacities, improving our memory, or taking control of our own emotional states. I think that we are right now in a transitional phase where before the end of this century we will either have gone extinct, or we will have most likely taken the step to become what you might call transhumans or posthumans, or just very enhanced humans that have reached their full potential. And I think this transition is the most crucial phase of our species' history. It's really, really important we get it right.
I think that transhumanism is quite a big group. The transhumanists are looking at all different ways of humans evolving, becoming post-human. the cyborg route is one of those. A fairly solid area within the transhumanist movement. I tend to be getting on with my own research largely and developing new implants, trying things out myself, and do get involved with the philosophical aspects, which I guess is what more the transhumanists are about. But I think it's a good movement in that it does open up and start allowing everybody to discuss what the possibilities are with transhumanism, because it's going to happen, and it's better that we discuss them now rather than suddenly be hit with some of the realities in a few years' time. In the long term, well, it's very exciting, not just helping individuals that have problems, but more enhancing all of us, upgrading humans, giving ourselves mental abilities that we don't have. Extra memory, extra math are just the obvious ones. Better means of communication directly by thinking to other people, and extra sensory input. I would love to be able to sense the world in infrared or ultraviolet. At the moment, as a human, I can't, but as a cyborg, I will be able to. I think we're certainly going to get a lot of people who do want to upgrade themselves, no question about that. And there'll be commercial interests and political interests supporting those groups. There's a lot of money to be made here, a lot of power, not just in a military sense, but in an everyday sense, in terms of who gets jobs and who doesn't. I think there's naturally going to be something of a backlash, a Luddite type of movement that says, well, why should you have those things when I haven't got those things? Just depends on how much power such people can have and how many people there are with that. But I think when implants become more acceptable, as they are becoming bit by bit, so such people, the humanists that want to stay human, the Terrans maybe, as Hugo would call them, I can't see them ultimately having much power, because at the end of the day, their intellectual capabilities will be so inferior to cyborgs, those that have implants and upgrades, that the cyborgs will be able to outthink the subspecies that still are human. I think now we look at the body in a human sense and a machine sense being integrated, becoming one, so technology does become a necessary part of evolution. In some ways, perhaps it has affected how we've evolved anyway, in a small way over the last 200 or 300 years. Now it will really move things on. So as a technologically oriented person, somebody involved with technology, it does start to make you quite powerful when it comes to the type of circuitry that you can design, the way that you can drive the technology forward, because effectively it's evolving humanity into cyborgs. You are directly affecting evolution.
Sort of sounds interesting, huh? What were the three promises that Satan gave to Eve in the Garden of Eden? Immortality, promise of intellect and wisdom, and promise that they could be like gods. What did the director just say? That architects can create, or could have the capability of creating their own universe, and thus populating it with species or scientific laws and everything else of their own design. Sort of sounds godlike, doesn't it? Things are coming full circle again. Because we, our human species, based on their theory, would be called Terrans. Now, you come up with another species supposed to be superior than the previous species. Okay? And you move them into a further advanced state, which is what they call posthumans. So we have Terrans, transhumans, and posthumans, right? What is the rule using evolution as the baseline for any species that succeeds the predecessor? They're destroyed or they are merged in somehow. The successor generally eliminates the predecessor. So all of us here will probably be gone. And this clip here will show you exactly what I think.
We are the Borg. Lower your shields and surrender your ships. We will add your biological and technological distinctiveness to our own. Your culture will adapt to service us. Resistance is futile.
Yep. A simulation. Become one of us or be destroyed. Morning. Had to get some rest. Just too wiped out. And last night's recording was just... well. Let me get 2 verses in. Matthew 24, verse 21 and 22. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor shall ever be. And except those days should be shortened, there should be no flesh saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. One more. Luke 21, verse 25 through 26. And there shall be signs in the sun, in the moon, and the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations, with perplexity, and the seas and the waves roaring, man's hearts filling them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken. We are going back into full circle again. This is the promise and this is the warning. Now, I got the other slide up as I brought up before. We can have human-animal hybrids. We can have enhanced humans, which is the center photograph. Or we can have nanotech minds and eventually implants in the body to make it more superior, thus replacing man as the superior species. Because with all predecessors are generally disposed one way or another. Another set of verses. Ecclesiastes 1:9. What has been will be again. What has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun. Same thing I keep saying, full circle. Matthew 24:37. As it was in the days of Noah, so will it be at the coming of the Son of Man. Satan's getting ready for his next bout with heaven. They got shut out the last time. They were actually probably about ready, minus a few things they had to get done, to launch an assault on heaven. Because remember, Lucifer's got a 2-to-1 inferiority. He can't win. He's outnumbered, outgunned. So he has to push odds into his favor. The only people he can tap into, because he can't create more of the fallen angels, is us. And thus, his plan. To deceive humanity and to lead humanity in such a way that they will serve him. I mean, you can make up all kinds of stories. Yeah, we gotta go fight wormhole aliens, or there's a threat of an extraterrestrial origin, which is true for him. And that we must defend this planet against the attack. Well, actually, defend them against the attack. See, let me get into the creme of the creme here with all of this, regardless if you think it's true or not, right? Let's just say, if you're non-Christian, let's just propose it is. Now, you're going to find a force at a 2-to-1 inferiority. You need to offset those odds into your military favor, right? Now, we have basically T-Rex and Raptors in the old days. What you would do is you would send those in through the portal first. Let them fight that. As you're doing that, then you would send in, let's say you would send in the animal-human hybrid types to fight behind them as the second wave. Then you launch a wave of humans. And then you send in the fallen angels to mop up. Sounds like a military plan to me, don't it to you? Does to me. So really, he don't care about us. The old term of the day was this: cannon fodder. Puts a bunch of people out, don't really care what happens. They're there to make a major impact. Casualties, doesn't matter. They're just fodder. Chinese did it for a long time. They used to take peasants and put peasants out in front of the trained soldiers and let them break the lines up and do whatever damage they could do before they came in with the trained force. Whatever happened to the peasants, who cares? We've got more of them. That's what the whole thing is about. All the deception, all the lies, everything else. The whole deception is for that reason. It is to give Lucifer an edge he don't have. And that's what everything's about. And I'll cover some more stuff later and tie it all together, I hope, as I move into what his plan is now. So what was going on at the time of Noah again? Increased fallen angel activity. Nephilim offspring. Going to happen again. Transhumanism, mixing humans with other species, and in this case, technology. Advanced technology. Well, if you got something like a Borg running around that can think about 1 billion times faster and has 1 billion times more resources, anything's possible. Rebellion and hostility against God. Well, we already have that. Corruption of God's creation. Yeah, we sort of got that now. Interdimensional portals. Not here yet. Coming. That's why they're looking for the ruins of Babylon. Worship of other gods other than Yahweh. Paganism. Atheism. A few other things. And of course, atheists will say, I don't worship any gods. You do yourself. You place yourself as God. Which goes to the next point. Making men thinking of themselves as God. I'm the top of the line. I'm the end. I'm the pinnacle of evolution. All this is a natural occurrence. Nothing natural about it. Even Darwin, near his time of death, rebuked his own theory. So if the creator of a theory says, I was wrong, then the whole theory just crumbled. Because he's the one that offered it. Everybody else trying to hold on to it. Back to rebellion and hostility towards God. Just give them an answer, a reason, an excuse. Now, I love my atheist friends, don't get me wrong. It's not them I don't like, it's the belief system. And it is a belief system. It's not based on fact. Well, I hope this ending is a whole lot better. You guys be blessed. Take care. And for my beautiful, loving Sarai, take care of Mom. Be blessed. Shalom.